What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Church Takes. We're back at y'all with another one. The JBP, they had just released their episode 750 on YouTube. It was an episode that was called Through the Fire, and basically we're here to give our takes on it. So let's talk about it. Basically, the first take was they had opened they opened up the pod, and John Cena, the wrestler, had followed Flip, and Flip was pretty happy about it. So basically, they had a clap up for John Cena following Flip. That was hilarious. You could tell that Flip was excited that John Cena followed him, so they clapped it up. Um, that was pretty funny. Shout out to Joe for remaining and staying positive throughout all of this. 750 episodes. I mean, let's give a round of applause to that. I mean, to have 750 shows as far as a podcast. I mean, a lot of people don't even make it to 100 episodes. So, shout out to him for staying positive throughout all of this. Next take is Tyrese's national anthem look was explained. He has the beard for a new role. I believe that's what Flip had said. Basically, the next take is Flip and Joe are still playing R. Kelly. That's funny as I don't know what. If I didn't have a young daughter that lived with me in my house, I'd probably be on the same page because I do like some of R. Kelly's music still. Nonetheless, I don't play it because I have my baby girl, so it is what it is. Let's move on. Flip calling out Imani on how he hates on all singing dudes is hilarious. They had mentioned something later on in the late in the pod, and they started talking about singing dudes, and Imani jumped in again. So just Flip calling that out was pretty funny. Next take, Joe saying Michael B. Jordan isn't an A-list actor is a crazy take. I thought that he was. I mean, just my opinion. I disagree with Ish when he was saying that Tyrese is an A-list celebrity. I don't think Tyrese is an A-list celebrity. I think he's definitely a B-list. But they were started to go into the definition of what an A-list celebrity is. And I mean, I just think, if everybody knows who you are, not just your people, if everybody knows who you are, then you're more than likely an A-list celebrity. I don't think that, Tyrese is not like a Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows who Will Smith is. I don't think everybody knows who Tyrese is. So, just my opinion. Um, Joe went on to go and ask, "What are the gifts that everyone has on the pod?" And Mel said, "Empathy." And I was like, "I mean, can empathy be a gift? I mean, or can being empathetic be a gift? I mean, I guess energy definitely can be a gift." This dude Ish said that diversity was his gift. Now, it was hilarious because M. Ford and her fine self, she had to get up and walk around the table on that nonsense that Ish spewed. Like, diverse, what are you talking about? But anyway, facilitating creative environments is dope. Joe piggybacked that as soon as he heard it. That was Park's gift. Um, so that was pretty funny how Joe just piggybacked it as soon as he heard it. Diabolical Joe is back when he talks about Drake. Now, you can see it in his facial expression that he wants to say something, but he's not saying it. Um, Again, Diabolical Joe. Now, I had a question. Where's the DJ set in the beginning of the episode? I enjoyed uh, the music in the beginning of the episode, so definitely got to do that, in my opinion. I don't have much to say on the Lotto versus the Doja Cat beef. What I will say is that Doja Cat's most recent single was great. I mean, she was most definitely rapping. So that's what I have to say about that. Next take is Joe is trying to figure out how to instigate a beef between Lotto and Doja. That's instigating in itself. You know, like he's trying to figure out how he can get it done, and that in itself is instigating the beef. So I don't know if people realize that, but your man is stirring the pot for sure, trying to make sure that that fourth quarter is looking right. Next take is Flip is definitely turning up as far as the content is concerned. Shout out to Flip. He has a lot of motion out here right now. So again, shout out to Flip. Did YSL Woody say "Leave me alone" N word on the stand? I gotta go take a look at it because I haven't tuned in since the first judge got kicked off of the case. Now, people think YSL Woody is slow, but I think he's smarter than what a lot of people give him credit for. So I'll just leave that there. I mean, this is an open case, and Joe has a big podcast with a lot of influence. So it's a very touchy subject that they are talking about, this open case on a huge platform that has tons of influence uh, in the public. So moving on, next take. 50 Cent's weekend in Shreveport looked like it had a vibe. Go check out Gilly and Wallow's $1 million worth of game clip. They just put it out. Um, m- yeah, it looked like everybody was there. So it looked like a pretty good time. Mel asking if they have hoes is hilarious. I mean, listen, you got to set your people up for success, Mel, not failure. I mean, all of the pod members, I think they're in a relationship for the exception of Imani. So her asking if they had hoes was kind of crazy. Anyway, um, Flip has to stop getting upset about the whole talk. It looks guilty. Just leaving that there. Ice is less spicy this episode. He's not getting emotional over the pushback. So shout out to him. You know, I would always say that, you know, he's icy spicy because, you know, whenever he gets pushback, he gets emotional, it seems like. And, you know, he starts raising his voice, and just because he's getting pushback, but he has dialed it back. He is not getting emotional. So again, shout out to Ice for this particular pod style, the calmer pod style, especially when he's getting feedback. Shout out to Ice. If a celebrity gets in shape, are people automatically going to think that they're on Ozempic? Because that seems like where it's going. But that's neither here or there. Next take. They could have skipped the Jonathan Majors crying on stage, but I see why they had to talk about it. Again, I see why they had to talk about it, and they named this episode "Through the Fire." If you've seen him on stage and you heard everything that he said in regards to Megan Good, you would understand why the episode is called "Through the Fire," and I understand why they spoke about it. Next take is I still call Aunt Jemima syrup Aunt Jemima syrup. I don't think I'll ever call it its new name, but that's just me. Moving on. Putting a timetable on their relationship was nasty work, but Mel definitely asked Ish that question. So she basically was like, "How long do you think their relationship is going to last?" That's nasty work. Flip caping for Mel is hilarious, especially when she doesn't think that highly of him, in my opinion. But me saying that is nasty work, so I'll leave that alone. And I'm just, you know, I'm entitled to my opinion, but we're not going to dwell into that too much. Parks is not letting Flip off the hook with that Lamborghini truck talk. this weekend. Flip was in a Lamborghini, and Parks had seen it, and he is on his neck when it comes down to um, he's not letting them off very easy. He's pretty much he keeps on mentioning it. Next take is Ish needs sponsorship from Wawa's at this point. Going there 3 to 4 times a day is wild. Next take is Joe clapping for Sky getting a DV charge is hilarious. Mel caping for Sky is also hilarious. Next take, I told y'all Jay was going to basically win that whole situation with the reasonable doubt situation. Joe capping like he was about to buy the third is nasty work. I mean, you wasn't buying. Stop it. You wasn't buying it. Anyways, Ish bringing up that Joe can't sell his product without Drake beef was wild. Joe low key agreed and got right up out of there. So, I mean, wow. Wow, Ish, wow. What do you think about men? All right, so this is a question that Joe asked. What do you think about men that get cold? I think that was a weird question. And then he followed it by saying, "I don't get cold because I'm a man." That's also weird, but let's just move on. And that's just my opinion. Next take is Mel has a new bag where she asks her fellow co-host questions that'll mess them up perception wise if they don't answer it wisely. It seems like she's been doing that a lot this episode, you know? So, and don't get me wrong, I mean, she's probably just doing what they do to her. So, not mad at it, but you got to set your people up for success, not failure. Joe won't say anything wrong about Lauren Hill and the Fugees. Um, he's entitled to his alliances, so that is what it is. TMZ dropping a diss track, that's nasty work. So apparently somebody had dissed Lauren Hill, and TMZ had dropped the diss track. That's just nasty, man. Anyways, I saying that he's tired and done with people talking about the Kendrick and Drake beef, making up pointless scenarios as Joe sips something from his cup. So basically, he was sipping his tea. That was hilarious and diabolical at the same time because I credit Joe for starting that entire beef. So I think you guys get what I'm saying. So for Ice to basically say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so tired of hearing about this, and you guys are messing it up, and I hate everybody who's making up pointless scenarios. Just tired of hearing about it. It's over. It's done." As Joe sips from his cup, I mean, he was just basically like, "Yep, yep, I did that. I did that." But anyway, moving on. Ice being half Jamaican but not knowing how big Vibes Cartel is, or yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I'm not Jamaican and I understand how big Vibes Cartel is. So, yeah, I mean, he is in tune. Listen, what I will say is what he's in tune with, he's highly in tune with it. But what he's not in tune with, he's not. It is what it is. But I mean, if you're Jamaican, you should know Vibes. That's my opinion. I mean, what? Anyway, Joe calling Ice the N word with the ER was crazy. Wasn't expecting to hear that. Then they started to go into the Olympics. Now, Steph phenomenal performance. LeBron he won the MVP, but here's the funny thing. I heard Steph had turned up after his wife and sons got to Paris. They basically he was averaging 7 points, and then when his wife got to Paris, he started averaging 25 plus. Basically stating all he needed was some cheeks to start to become Steph. So shout out to Aisha, I believe her name is. Shout out to the whole fam. Noah Lyles is a joke. I can he listen, how he performed in the 200-meter race, which is his specialty race, um, before and after, it was unacceptable. He damn near did a victory lap before the race started and came in third place. Like, yeah, it was just nasty work to watch that. I mean, for you to come in third place, do a whole victory lap before the race starts, and then come in third, and then have to be carried off as if you're just this sick, and then you're in a man. Listen, I don't know, man. It was just nasty work. I don't like the guy's character. Um, that was nasty. But anyway, he's a young kid, so he'll learn. Um, Next take is, this is the only pod to me that can get off 3 hour plus pods. Like, there's no other pod on the planet that I'm going to sit there watch for 3 plus hours. So shout out to Joe and the squad for being that outlet. I mean, somebody homeroom, they put out something that was 3 hours plus, and I, I was out of there in like 20-25 minutes. But anyway, I am glad Ice brought up the the basketball USA team, the women's basketball USA team winning the gold as well. Shout out to all the beautiful black women in the Olympics, no matter what country they came from. They all showed up and they showed out. So shout out to all the black women that were participating in the Olympics. Um, Beautiful black woman, may I add. Joe made a joke about Alec Baldwin. That joke was pretty dark. Moving on. Joe touched on Ish's weight. I'm not sure who's heavier right now, Flip or Ish, but shout out to both of them. Then they went into a fan story. Um, and as they were going into a fan story, I see a skit with Rory rapping. Classic skit, I must say. I kind of went into the skit while they were talking about the fan topic, but um, when I came back to it, because Rory and Maul skit, it was maybe a minute and a half. When I got back to it, Joe and them, they were talking about herpes for like the last 20 minutes out of out of the last 30 minutes. So basically, like, it was just talking about herpes and this, that, and the third, and what can cure it, and the whole nine. And I get that's what the fan story was about, but to be talking about herpes and stuff like that for the last 20 out of the 30 minutes is nasty work. Anyways, a Neo versus Trey Song versus would be fire. I don't know who would win that. You just gotta. That's one of those ones where it's like, I mean, you just gotta see that fight. Like, you don't know. I don't know what the outcome would be. Um, you would just have to see that. That's just like, I guess, yeah. You just got to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even tell you who would win or who wouldn't win. What I can say is that would be entertaining, as I don't know what. So basically, that is it. That is all. Before we get up out of here, let's give a special shout out to the sponsor, Manhattan Gray. It's a phenomenal product to keep your hair healthy, to keep your hair happy, to keep it shiny and moisturized. Every time I use the product and I go outside, people say that I'm looking extremely healthy. It's a good product, and you'll get about 20% off. There's a link in the description, I believe, but you'll be able to get 20% off. Just go ahead and get yourself a nice little hair care package, man. Self care is the way to go, especially for the remainder of 2024. Take care of yourself, treat yourself when you can, and love yourself, guys. So that is it. That is all. We're going to get up out of here. But before we go, do me one favor: comment, like, subscribe, and just remember that the best takes are the church's takes. We out. Peace.